Just after the kickoff of the Egg Bowl, we learned Lane Kiffin is no longer in the running to be the head coach at Florida, and it seems like this is his decision. Let's talk about what this means for Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss, LSU, and what this means for Florida. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, hit that subscribe button, like this video, answer the question in the comments below. Ole Miss or LSU? Where do you think Lane Kiffin will be going to coach in 2026? I'm of the opinion that he needs to stay right where he is. They went right down the field to start that game in the Egg Bowl, and you can see just how good this team is. And they can have the best season they've ever had in school history, all things considered, berth to the college football playoff, still have a chance to make the SEC championship game, although slim. They need losses by A&M and Auburn, Alabama, A&M and Alabama to get there. But that's not really what Ole Miss is playing for. They win today, they're into the playoff, and that's what they want. It's what everybody wants. The SEC championship game is important, not less important. It's just bottom line, get into the postseason tournament. Get there being the SEC champion. That means you're going to have a better seed. It means you get the bye week, so forth, so on. But right now, win this game. And it's, had its normal shenanigans. Reports from Ole Miss that Trinidad Chambliss' jersey was stolen not once but twice last night. One time at 1 a.m., one time at 3 a.m. They're down to his third jersey to start the game. I thought that was fun. Kamario Taylor also getting the start in this one. But the news that really dominated the first quarter of the broadcast has to be Lane Kiffin saying, I don't want the Florida job anymore. After all that stuff he was talking about Steve Spurrier, and all that stuff he was talking about the visor and how he wanted to call an offense like Spurrier's, which is high flying, fun and gun, talk noise, have a good time. There was a lot of people that thought that he might be willing to take that job after being a head coach at Florida Atlantic, meeting his wife in Florida. Turned out to be what I think in the best of times is just raising the price, right? LSU is going, okay, we actually have to contend with this. Here's our package, right? 100 million, 25 million plus to the roster that they already are paying, but numbers being numbers. I get it. There's somebody in here that always believes that the name, image, and likeness numbers are different for them, or that there are other things that need to be considered, other factors that come with this job or that job. With LSU, it's the quiet part is not being quiet at all. It's political. Like, you're not going to last there. If you don't get along with them, they don't get along with you. And the first year will be great. I have no doubt that the first year will be great. But if you're bad the next year, how much Lane Kiffin are you willing to put up with? Because Lane Kiffin's going to do what Lane Kiffin does. And this has been a professional nomad, like most coaches, if we're being honest about this. I mean, Nick Saban famously was a nomad up until he got to basically Michigan State. And even then, he used that job to springboard to LSU, used that job to get to Miami, and then finally Alabama, right? But, Nick Saban coached almost everywhere, dog. Like Kent State, Navy, Toledo, Ohio State. You keep going down the line, especially in those early 80s years. It's just year to year. With Kiffin, though, I think this is more devastating for Florida than it is for whatever might happen with Lane Kiffin, because he's got two great choices. Ole Miss is probably going to pay him handsomely and give him a long extension and, add even more to the coffers for their football program for him to go get who he needs to. He's been a scary judge of talent. Trinidad Chambliss, a guy that kind of stumbled upon after he won a national championship at Ferris State last year. I actually saw this dude beat up on Central Oklahoma, who was good last year and had a chance to win the national championship, and this dude went right through him. Doesn't surprise me he's had this kind of success. It does surprise me that he was able to keep the job, because usually you want to get your starting quarterback out there as soon as you can. Austin Simmons won the job in camp. Trinidad Chambliss, though, has been looking like a Heisman contender from the moment that he got the start, and his total offense numbers show that. He'd also be a guy that you got to think about, along with Austin Simmons, that might be leaving, right? Along with everybody else at Ole Miss. I think you just pick it up, move it, kind of like what Charles Huff did with Marshall and Southern Miss. But again, to Florida, you're down to John Summerall, who many people believe is probably going to be next head coach at Auburn. He played linebacker at Kentucky. It also looks like a better fit for him from a culture standpoint, and from the way he likes to call ball. He's been a great head coach in his first 4 years, right? He's made, if they beat Charlotte, he will have made 4 consecutive conference championship games. Not too shabby. Where he goes, he wins. I think that also him pulling out of the Florida job a little bit to some degree has really turned some heads going, really? And I'm not getting the sense that the Florida job is as sought after as we might think it is. Like I'm sure they say they've interviewed 12 folks for this job. And I have no doubt that each one of these candidates is qualified and can do the job and do the job well. But you aren't going to get the guy you wanted. Brent Key is not going anywhere. He's going to stay at Georgia Tech. Then you're down to what else is out there. I mean, James Franklin's now head coach of Virginia Tech. So we got 9 openings here. Lane Kiffin could fill one of them or just stay put. That would give us 8. But who are the more qualified guys? Like I'm looking at Will Stein at Oregon. It's a easy fit for me because as an offensive coordinator and a play caller, he's as good as they come. And I think he's been waiting on a couple of jobs to open up. One might be Louisville, but that's not going to open up anytime soon. Jeff Brom also played there as well as Will Stein. I think if you want to go young and you want to get a high-flying offense and you want to have the same sort of experience that you were hoping to have with Lane Kiffin without the SEC chops, that's the first guy I go talk to. And I think this is the last guy that I go talk to if I can back up a truck. What do I got to do to get you out of Eugene? What I got to get you to come down to Gainesville? I think that would immediately flip them around. Another guy that I would talk to that doesn't get a lot of buzz in these conversations is Shannon Dawson down in Miami. Great dude, great coach. Offense also gets it done. This seems like what people want to do, right? They either want to hire a defensive-minded guy who's going to go hire an offensive guy that can go cook him, and that usually is a great recipe. Like Bob Stoops hated defending Mike Leach's Kentucky offense, air raid, so he went to hire him. And you saw that work with Brent Venables calling the defense at Oklahoma. Ben Arbuckle still growing into the job, but you're hiring younger guys to be your offensive dudes. That's what it was at Oregon. Dan Lanning's defensive dude went to hire a young and upcoming offensive guy, Will Stein from UTSA. I think if you're trying to just get people back interested in Florida football, building through Will Stein is not a bad idea. Problem with this is who is he going to hire defensively, right? Usually you're going to hire an old head to be your defensive mind. I'm not sure that there's an old head out there right now that I would really trust to go do this. Short of some guys that might get fired, right? So I don't want anybody to get fired, but if I'm putting it together in like a fantasy football kind of way, Will Stein's the head coach of Florida. Dave Aranda's defensive coordinator of Florida. Tell me that doesn't win football games. I could do this all day.